another episode of the Lash Cuties Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny.
And I'm Mullen. And are you always stressed out? Do you always freak out and not have enough time to do anything? Well, today we're going to talk about time management. So, Jenny, I'm going to kick it off with, why does time management matter?
Well, I think it matters in everything, like every aspect of life. So, time management, it's creating a good balance in life. Everyone needs it. You could get overworked. You can feel drained. Time management also is being punctual, having a schedule. And this doesn't even have to apply to work. This is literally just every day, like whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like you just have, time management is also just having a routine, I think, in a sense, where it's like everything is scheduled. It doesn't have to be super precise, but I think it's just a really good way to balance life in general.
So we only have 24 hours in a day, and I don't know about all of you guys, but I ask myself all the time, how does these people do so many things?
For sure, yeah.
I think they have systems.
Mm-hmm.
They manage their time really well.
Yeah.
They don't waste time on things that don't matter. They prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and not just that, but it's like we have 24 hours, but at the same time, it's like you need sleep. So let's knock out minimum 6 hours of those 24 hours, you know what I mean? So it's like realistically we have 18 hours, and that's not including taking a shower, so it's like really it's like you really do have just like very, very limited time during the day to actually get things done, and I think that's why, in anything, like you can feel overwhelmed and stressed and whatever, so
I really do think that I agree with you. The routines are so important.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you find the values that matters to you, like as a business owner, it's easier when you go to work and you're like, okay, I have to be at this job from this to this and I can go home.
Mm-hmm.
When you're an entrepreneur, you're like, oh my goodness.
Now you're working 24/7.
Because you have more time, but at the same time you feel like there's so many things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think then we need to prioritize what is important. Not just for me, I want to do the fun things, but prioritize like the stuff that I really don't want to do, that's like I hate it, nitty gritty. Those things I have to put number one on my list.
I literally have a list. I have a little almost like a whiteboard on my fridge, and I literally write all my stuff there. I have it on my notes in my phone. I have it like on my booking site. Like I have so many things things I need to get done, and sometimes I'll catch up a little bit and I'm like, okay, cool, now I just have like, I don't know, let's say 3 things to do. And then as time goes by, then it's like, oh, now I got 5 things. Okay, now I got 8 things. And it's like, oh my God, like this list is never ending. It's real quick. Let's talk about my price list right there. How long have I been installing on my price list?
1 year?
No, serious. It's been like, I think this whole year almost.
We're going to get our shit together.
Yeah, I know, seriously. So,
well,
but
okay,
it's true. Well, let's talk about it. So how do you feel like you manage your time to just fit in with your schedule, or how do you make your schedule work around your, time management? So talk about it.
That's a good one. Well, so first of all, I have a booking site. So the booking site really helps me having clients book whenever works for them. I set my schedule. I am open from 9 till 7 most days. Some days I go close earlier. Some days I don't work. So first of all, that I know when I can potentially get clients.
Yeah.
So that's number one. I want to get clients. I need money coming in, So that's the first thing I do. Then I will block out things if I have appointments and stuff. So that's really important for me. Or if I have things coming up, I'm trying to look in my calendar and block out potential time that I need for whatever. Or even personal things, or just self-care.
Or just this podcast.
So we do block this off. So things like that helps me prioritize the time. As far as also on my booking site, I do have, so let's say I do have a slow day and I go get groceries and run some errands, whatever. I have a booking thing on there so my clients can book 2 hours. If they want to book right now, it can't be for another 2 hours.
Same. I have the exact same thing,
So that helps me not stressing or being on edge. What if someone booking, I'm not
right
in the
studio.
Now.
Yeah.
So that, and then another thing for me is what I just briefly mentioned, but I always want to do the fun stuff, and for me that's being creative and I can sit on Canva forever. I love it, So that's kind of fun for me. However, it takes a lot of time, and at certain times that's good, but I need to prioritize the stuff that I don't want to do, the business side, my taxes, checking how much I've earned, profit and loss, learning those new skills and doing those and kind of go over numbers and stuff is what I don't like to do, but it's really important because I don't want to just take clients. I want to learn this business side and be good at it. So for me, like right now in this moment, prioritizing the business side is very important.
Yeah. But you also work out a lot too. So you prioritize that in your schedule as well. Like you fit that in your schedule all the time too.
Yeah. So that, I guess finding your values, because I do value working out and be healthy. So I get up in the morning and I work out first thing in the morning, and then I like to have my time in the morning. That's why I have an hour or two before I even come to the studio.
Yeah,
that's my schedule.
Yeah, and I feel like we're so opposite, because in the mornings I'm like, don't talk to me. I need to like really just get slow. I have a slow morning, and that's just the way I work, and I'm like, I can't think right now. And then slowly I build, and then throughout the night, like it'll be like 10 p.m. and I'm like, you know what? It's the perfect time to sweep and clean my whole apartment and start mopping, So I'm like, I'm a complete night owl. I do feel like I'm changing that though right now. So
you wake up early. I text you at like 4 a.m. and you text me back at 6 a.m. I think you're doing great.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So my schedule hasn't changed. I'm not as bad of a night owl as what I used to be. Just because, I mean, now I do have to wake up earlier, and just naturally I'm more tired, like, earlier at an earlier time. So usually I'm going to sleep at like around 10:30, 11, but so.
Do you allow yourself to sleep in sometimes?
If I can. So my schedule is pretty tight. So, and I don't know. It's just like this week, I don't think I have not had a day to sleep in this whole week. I am. But sometimes it's like, okay, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like tonight, I have or tomorrow, I should say, I have a client at 8:30. So that's pretty early. I'll probably have to wake up, I don't know, let's say 6-ish, so it's like, so I already know tonight, okay, maybe go to sleep like 11 latest, you know what I mean? So it just kind of, again, just scheduling, balancing things out, so.
For me, I don't know what it is with this like whole sleep schedule, but I go to bed early, but I wake up early. But like usually usually maybe on like Sundays, like I maybe sleep a little bit longer, but normally I just try to wake up around the same time, because I feel like it doesn't matter for me if it is a Saturday or it's a Monday. However, if my body feels really tired, I let it rest. If I can tell them like, oh, I'm like, I need this extra sleep.
For sure.
Other than that, I'm okay waking up early. Like I don't know. That's when I am productive, so I get a lot of shit done.
No, you do.
Which I think post YouTube videos at like early morning.
But that's funny, because I think it was a video on TikTok or something like that, and it said like the more successful people do wake up earlier and wake up early and go to sleep early. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, and it said like, you can think, well, I'm a night owl and I'm just going to do this at night or whatever. But it's like, okay, like some things are not open that late at night, or, you can't call if you've got like a business thing that you got to deal with, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes and no. It's like, sure, some things you can get done late at night, but overall, successful people do have an early schedule.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I will say with that, because you are more productive at night, so there's certain things, like if you have a project, or you know what I'm saying, if there's things that you can do, like let's say social media posting, that's when you are creative and you have that energy.
I do it at night all the time. When I'm in bed, I'm literally like, lights are off, I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm like, perfect time to edit the video. Exactly. So now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I know exactly how I like to edit things and whatever. So it might take a little while, and I might be working on it for a little while at night, but I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just chilling and TV's playing in the background, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm about to go to bed, and I finish, whatever. It doesn't have to be all in one sitting, kind of thing, but it's like, it's you get to choose. Easier. Exactly. I'm not gonna do that, when I know I got like 3 clients, coming up. I'm like, I like to take my time on like the editing stuff or whatever.
So let me backtrack. When you said you make your lists and they get really overwhelming long, I feel like I've heard like time after time that you shouldn't have more. Not shouldn't, but like having like a few things on your list is more, or it's easier to overcome than having like a trillion things. So how do you prioritize your lists? Or do you do like, this is my priority, so these must get done first, and then I can do all these other things?
Yeah. So it might be like, it goes on different things. So like, let's say it's just a timeline in general, right? Like, perfect example. So I'm celebrating my 30th birthday next month in Cali. And so, like, a lot of those things that I'm like, okay, like the car rental and, you know, certain payments and things like that. I'm like, okay, even though this is not related to the business, you know what I mean? But I'm like, those are prioritized because that's already coming up very quickly, you know what I mean? Right. Versus I'm like, my price list. I can just tell that my client, oh, yeah, this lash shampoo costs this much money, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's why those kind of things get kind of put in the background, you know what I'm saying? So like kind of last constantly. You know, another thing is like, okay, let's say a lash product or lash, let's say my adhesive. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna need it. Right now I'm okay, but maybe in 2 weeks it's gonna start feeling a little old. So I'm like, let me go ahead and prioritize that right now and go ahead and buy that right now. You know what I mean? So it's just those little things where it's like, if I were to wait, again, using the adhesive example, if I were to wait the 2 weeks, then when the 2 week mark comes around, I'm going to be stressed out. Like none of these lashes are sticking on. And I'm like, I don't want to cause that to myself, especially knowing that now, you know what I mean? Maybe before I might have kind of played with that a little bit, you know, I'm like, no, just hold off, I'll hold off. And then when the moment comes, I'm like, damn, like I am stressing lashing this person, or not just one person, if it's like a day with a couple clients, and I'm like, then I feel bad. And it's just kind of to prevent that whole thing, you know, if you're having everyone has it, but like a stressful lash day, you know what I mean? If I can prevent that in any way, then I will, you know, so
that sounds like prioritizing. Like, prioritizing like things that matters.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need products, so you can't do your job without products. Those are things that are like a must.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Or if it's like, hey, I'm running out of 12 millimeters on whatever, you know, tile, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, maybe I have enough for a couple more clients, but pretty soon I'm not going to have anything. Let me buy that now, because you know, everyone knows like the shipping of it takes a while, and you know the delivery and stuff. So
you said you have your book and your phone that you like your notes that you put on both. Do you always update them together, or like being like?
So on my booking site, it's kind of like maybe on that one it might say like, I'm trying to think like an example. I guess on my booking site, it's more so like, oh, if I have an appointment or like this, you know, it's like podcast or whatever. But like, am I going to write price list? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But like on the notes, I have like everything listed on my notes, you know?
Yeah. So I do that too. Like on my schedule, I'll block out like these, like obviously we need time for the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously you need time to do each other's lashes.
Yeah.
Like those kind of things will come on that. That makes sense.
Right.
And then on your list is things that you have to do
like
on the back.
Like exactly. Like no one, like I don't need to block out of my schedule to do these things, but it's things that need to get done. If not right now, eventually. Right now. So. Another thing also that I wanted to mention, what were you going to say?
I have another question for after.
Oh, okay. What are you going to ask?
Okay. Let's do it. Okay, so because we have a business, a job, personal life, marketing, there's so many things. Which of those how do you prioritize that?
I prioritize clients first. Like, I super work around my client schedule because I have a tight schedule, and I don't have that many time slots for people to come in right now, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But because of my limited time for availability for my clients, that's why I'm like again, you know, I would love to sleep in, you know, on a Sunday morning, but if someone wants to come in, I will 1,000% work with them. You know what I mean? I'm like, I could sleep another day. Right now, let me get that client in. You know, so clients are my number one.
Do you first do it? I'd say.
Okay, so client, just in general, like all my like, prioritizing stuff. Okay, so I would say clients are my number one. Clients.
No. Okay, I get it. And then obviously business stuff, but like marketing would come a little bit. I mean, marketing is important, but like you would rather have time to like, I need to get these clients in than having like to block up 3 hours of making content at this moment in time.
Yeah, because the way that I see it right now, it's like, in order to create content, I need those clients in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it would be clients and then content, but at the same time, like, and I'll say, like, I know I've kind of been slacking on my content lately. This week, you
posted twice.
I did, but you know, I finally, like, this week I was like, okay, now I kind of had a little bit extra time, you know, whatever. I'm like, okay, and it kind of does go with the organizing of like whatever this goes, me being, I guess, anal about things, but I'm like on my feed, I was seeing a lot of back-to-back classics, and I was like, okay, let me switch it up. So I didn't want to post anything either because I'm like, I don't want all my sets to be just nothing but classics. So that's why I kind of waited off as well at the same time, because I'm like, let me post a volume set, let me post a bust set, whatever. So yeah, I will not block my schedule out or off to do content, just because, again, going into the night owl thing, like I'll do that tonight, you know what I'm saying, at 9 p.m. and then I know I'm not going to post anything. I usually don't post anything on the weekends, like as an actual post. I'm like, okay, well, I'll work on it maybe a little bit. I'll get started on it today, and maybe tomorrow being Saturday, I'll touch on it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, but it doesn't take that long either anymore to edit, whatever it is, if it's a reel or, just.
Okay, we're talking about how we block out our schedules, because that's important. Prioritizing clients, and because there's limited time when you have clients, do you add time to clean and stuff in the studio, like clean up your station stuff, like in your time that you set up for your clients?
Yeah. So one thing I haven't changed on my, I guess, settings on the booking site is the amount of time that I take for a lash client, or just to do a set. I feel like the time is kind of, it seems like a lot. Like for a full set, it'll be blocked off for 3 hours. Chances are I'm not gonna go the full 3 hours, but one, I have that just in case if someone has like a million lashes, and especially if they're getting like, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, any kind of set, but like especially like a classic set or whatever, you know what I mean? If they have a bunch of layers, a bunch of lashes, I'm like, I might go a little bit past the 2.5 hours. Do I care? Not really anymore. I used to, but now I'm like, it is what it is. But I'm still gonna, let's just say I am going 3 hours on someone that has a bunch of lashes, and I have someone scheduled to come in right after them, then I know, like, okay, around that, last 15 minutes of the appointment, I'm like, I'm wrapping it up. So, because I know I still got to check them out. If I'm going to take a picture, you know what I mean? All those things add up. So,
I agree with that. I don't take more than 15 minutes. I include it also. It doesn't take that long to clean up in between. But then because I mean, and that's another thing too. I always have my, what is that table called? The side table. Like a little side table.
My little side table where I put all the the iPads and tape or whatever. I usually, like, if I'm gonna have a client like back to back, I like to have certain things already prepped beforehand. So like the tape that I'm gonna put, tape down their bottom lashes, I usually already have those cut. I think I already have them cut for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very like the rest of it, like I have everything organized as far as like my micro swabs and the under eye pads and the bib and whatever. Everything's like kind of put together on that part. So I'm like, that takes me literally like 2 seconds. I might even, as I'm maybe drying someone's fanning someone's lashes, I might kind of start putting some stuff up or throwing some things away, like I feel like I always do that.
You fan for a little bit. As well.
That, and then even whenever I start, like whenever I open up the little package to put the iPads on, like I immediately threw that away. As soon as I put on the primer, throw that away. You know what I mean? I don't let it sit there, so I just kind of, it's overall pretty ready. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. No, that's good. I guess it's good to prioritize having enough time to clean if you don't know how long you're going to take, or if you are a new lash artist and you don't know. Just make yourself like schedule off some extra time, because you'd rather have a little bit extra time than rushing. And trust me and Jenny both, from working at the lash studio, we have had very little time and it's been very stressful. So if you are on your own and you are able to take that extra time, it is worth it. And it's worth it for your clients too. Like they'll understand. You have time to do a good job, you have time to clean up properly and disinfect properly and do all the right steps before you get all stressed out. Right. Because that's not fun and you're not going to do a good job.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I know, I think this was on Wednesday, I had a client, I had 2 like back-to-back clients, and I finished actually on time a little bit beforehand. My second client had already texted me saying that she was outside waiting. I was like, okay, just give me a few minutes. And again, I still had a few minutes to spare, with the current client. she was having issues with her payment, and so it delayed it for a little while. But I'm like, hey, like as she's doing that, I'm like, I'm cleaning, I'm getting ready for the next one, and so everything was ready. And like it's just some things you can't like fully have under control. You know what I mean? But like in the end, like I went to go get the other client. She came in. The current client was still she was sitting here, and so that payment went through, and once it did, I was like, okay, cool, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and work done. That's what you want.
Yeah. Exactly. And it wasn't like 20 minutes, 15 minutes later. Like no, like I think I got her like a minute after the time, her scheduled time.
I would say that I actually have just an example. I mean, this was at the Lash studio. There's nothing really can do, but I had a client and she would just delay leaving. Mm-hmm. She just wanted to talk, and it was the craziest thing because I don't know. I think some people just obviously want to talk, but it was just she just had to. Yeah. And like we have so clients waiting on us, right? And it's like it was so hard. Like I'm also like very shy, and at the time it was very uncomfortable. And then every time I had her, I was always so anxious that she would stand there and talk forever. Oh my god! And you don't want to be rude and be like, Yeah. But then I'm thinking, I'm like,
I gotta go.
I'm sorry. Like I'm on the clock. So like that could be hard if you're in certain situations. For sure. And of course, like I wish I was brave enough now, and it would have been probably different now if it happened. There would be ways for me to be like, hey, I'm not a client, come in, or like say it in like a way. But at the time, I was like very insecure, and it was actually really uncomfortable.
I've heard a lot about that. I've had more so like I feel like here they know, you know what I mean. Yeah. And like even if they're super talking, then it's like, okay, you just kind of walk to the door and open the door. They kind of get the hint on that point, Yeah. But I do remember like there was some that would not super hang around, you know what I mean? But like I don't know. I feel like on that point, I'm like I'm way too anxious. I'm like I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll see you. Okay, you know what I mean? Because it's like, especially then, it's like I remember they would just. The next client would just be sitting there watching, you know what I mean? So it's like there's eyes on us,
Yeah. So I guess also with that, like it could be always like a boundary thing too. I'm such a people pleaser, and there's something I'm working on, and like that is also rooted in fear. I don't want to disappoint anyone, so I didn't want to disappoint this client. But then now I am disappointing my other client, and I'm disappointing myself. Yeah. Because that's too. I'm not like respecting my own time. Exactly. Like, there's nice ways of saying it, but in that situation, my brain just went to like full on like panic, like stressed out, like
that makes sense. Yeah.
But that also leads me into the conversation about your schedule and like why is your schedule so busy. Because I think that is something that can relate to a lot of other lash artists out there.
Yeah. So. Well, I don't think I've ever said it before on the podcast, but I do currently have a full-time job while still lashing as much as I can. So that is why my schedule is so limited. Not to mention that the office that I work out of recently moved to a new location, which is even further than what it used to be. So now...
Plus, you already live 30 minutes from here, from the studio.
Yeah, so I commute a lot every single day. I'm in my car every single day, but that's just whatever. It is what it is. Like I feel like before I wouldn't really mention it. I know one time when me and Malin went to a lash event a few months back earlier this year, it's a bunch of lash artists and whatever, and I remember like I think there was one girl that said like, oh, so do you guys do this full time? And Malin was like, yeah, she's like, I do it full time. And I said no, and because I didn't lie to her, I said no, that I have a full-time job as well. And it's almost like, I don't know the exact word to describe the feeling, but it's almost like you feel like embarrassed because you're not in it full-time, or almost, it's not ashamed, but it's almost like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, fully relate to you guys because I'm not doing this full time. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know the exact word to describe the feeling of it, but throughout time, I have just kind of been like, it is what it is. I have a full-time job because that's...
I mean, there's a reason. And there's no embarrassment is needed. I mean, you're doing it. I mean, you have to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
I have a husband that has a full-time job and my income, so that makes it easier. Then you you
I'm
live
on my
alone,
own,
so like
yeah.
it's all on you.
For sure.
And there's so many other people in that situation. So I think it's really important to be like, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
You just have limited time, so you just have to be extremely good at your time management.
Oh,
so you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah. I was like, I'm busy, you know, and that's another reason why I super work around my clients, because I'm like, my time is so limited that I'm like, I appreciate every single client that I can get. That's number one. And then, yeah, just kind of going on what you're saying. It's like, yeah, I live alone. It's not even like I have my family where I can say, well, you know what? I mean, I'll do this full time and I'll just move in with my parents in the meantime, you know, just kind of save up that money or whatever.
And that would be nice.
No, that would be super. I would do that in a heartbeat. No, yeah, exactly. But, you know, I don't have that, you know, so it is like, it's one of those situations where it really is like, okay, sink or swim, you know, and obviously I'm going to do what I can to survive. You know, we live in Denver, Colorado, which it is very expensive here. And even if you don't live in a really, really expensive city, which I feel like almost every city is expensive nowadays, you know, but even if you don't, I mean, it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to just be able to, like, balance everything, you know, and not just that, but, I mean, I don't know, like, just buying lash supplies alone is expensive, you know what I mean? Like, and that's that I'm not, like, paying a lot of stuff, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, like, right now, it's just the best thing for me, but I want to clarify 1,000%, like, it's coming very soon where I will be able to just do lashes and, you know, be off on my own full time, but one, if I want to plan it out very strategic. Yeah, exactly. I want to be smart about it. I want to have enough money saved up. I don't want to quit my job and then I'm like, oh, what did I do? You know, I did not plan for this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to feel like, okay, if I'm going, you know, for those first couple of weeks or whatever, is like slow because people are not used to I'm not used to having such an open schedule, you know what I'm saying? And I'm starting to like bring people in. It's like I want to have enough where I'm okay and I'm comfortable and I can pay off things even if I'm slow here, you know? So that's number one. And then, you know, and again, just kind of going on that feeling and stuff, like kind of feeling embarrassed or whatever it is. Like, I see a lot of lash posts, or lash artists posting on like these Facebook groups and things like that. Like, you know, the economy sucks right now, and everyone knows it. Everyone is feeling it some kind of way or another. And, you know, because of the economy, some people are losing clients, or some people are just not gaining clients, you know. And all the time, people are posting on there like, oh, you know, I'm not making enough. Like, I need to get a job. What do you girls do? What kind of jobs do you guys have? And, you know, some girls, you know, start working as bartenders, some start working as, you know, whatever it is, something random, you know, and it's just like, you got to do what you got to do to survive, you know, and I have learned to just kind of be okay, like, we're all surviving, and so I shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed to have a full-time job, you know, because it's like, I mean, if anything, it's just, I mean, I know we both are not fan of the hustle culture, but right now, this is what you got to do to survive, 1,000%. And also, I will say you've never strayed away from loving your dream. Your dream is always like, before I even thought about lashes, you always knew that was your dream. So I feel like that is probably your driving force, right? This is your dream, and you I feel like you've never strayed away from that. You've always been like locked in. This is what I'm doing. I don't care if I have to take clients every afternoon after I get off work. Every morning, like if someone comes at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, I don't know why you get clients at 8 a.m. on I know.
You could have gotten me. I might have been up, but whatever. But
I was like, I'll take you, girl. So.
But that it is important to say that, like, you are hustling, but you're working for something.
Yeah.
Your dream. And
so,
you know, it is what it is. Like, everybody's situation is different, but I do think that for any lash artists out there that are doing the same thing, like, don't be ashamed. You just have to figure out your time management. That's going to be a lifesaver. Because you still have so many things as, like, when you open,
like, bills don't stop, you know.
Bills don't stop, but also you have to find a way to find clients. So what do? You know, marketing, like those kind of things. You have to do some of it. You know. And so, like, things are not going to just fall in your lap, and so, like, you have to be just very strategic with what you're doing with your time. Because you have such limited time. Which is a pretty badass thing. So it's gonna, in the long run, it shows how resilient you are.
And I know Mullen says that, like, oh, you're resilient. But it's like,
true.
I'm tired of being resilient. Like, I'll say that straight up. Like, I've been working at this full-time job now, almost coming at a year in November. And like, I'm tired. Like, I can't wait until the day that I'm like, okay, I could just do this full-time, because kind of going based on what you're saying, like, the hustle culture, it's like, the hustle culture is not it. Like, this whole, waking up early to go to work and do a good job, obviously, at work, so I can have that job, you know what I'm saying? And then right after work, it's like, okay, let me go to the studio because I have a client, and I'll put on the face of, like, the lash artist. And then afterwards, it's like, I don't know, let's just say 8:30 p.m., and then it's like, okay, now I got to go home and make dinner, and then still go to sleep at a decent time because I got to do it all over again tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's nonstop. Especially if there is, like, little errands, like grocery shopping. It's like, okay, when do I fit that in? Or, just
no balance.
Yeah,
like when you do that, it's hard to find that time for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you do anything for yourself? Like, what is something that you're like, okay, I prioritize this for myself, besides getting a lash done, of course.
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think it depends. It doesn't have to be every week or whatever. I think, like, let's just say, let's just say, like, I know for the rest of the month I'm pretty slammed, you know what I mean? But, like, if I see, let's say I have a full busy week, and then the next week it's starting to get busy, I'm like, okay, you know what, let me block off this day, because I got to do this, and this, you know what I mean? So it might not be super self-care, which, yeah, you know what I mean? Or maybe it is, like, I think I got a pedicure, like, a couple weeks ago, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm going to block that off on like a Sunday. I think I had a client, and then afterwards I was like, okay, let me go get my pedicure now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a balance where I'm like, I'll still take someone in, but I'm going to cut it off early, or like tomorrow. Okay, that's a really good example. So tomorrow I have, again, a client at 8:30, I have a small gap, and then I have another client at 1. And originally, luckily, I think earlier that day I had blocked off my schedule because coming Sunday, in 2 days, I'm fully, like, I think I have like 3 full sets on Sunday. And all back to back. So I'm just like, oh my god, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, well, and I need to, tonight we would be recording this podcast, so I'm just like, okay, let me have my Saturday night, so I blocked it off, I think at 4 p.m., so I'm like, okay, tomorrow I got those 2 clients. Afterwards, I'm gonna have a Harry Potter night. I'm just gonna chill and just watch TV or whatever, so I'm just like, and that'll be my me time, my alone time, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so important though.
It is, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, I can kind of wind down and enjoy my Saturday night, not feel guilty about it, because I know Sunday I'm going to be slammed, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it's like, if, let's just pretend I had not blocked that off, and let's say I was flashing all day tomorrow and then all day Sunday, and then going to work Monday morning and doing this whole, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, no, like, I'm going to be so tired, you know what I mean? And another thing too, it's like, I travel a lot for my job, my full-time job, which I don't like, whatever, it's okay, but I mean, it is what it is, so it's like, like this week I'm traveling to Florida, you know what I mean? So it's like, traveling alone, it gets you tired, you know what I'm saying? So it's not ideal, my schedule right now, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like, I don't care, like,
but I feel like you are doing the right steps. So again, for anyone that is in the same situation as you, I think doing the same thing, like, okay, like, you might not set a date, but if you want really something really bad and you do set a date or whatever, make sure you save up some so you have, because I mean, even when you start going on your own, like, even when I went on my own, like, I had a few clients here and there, and it got busier and busier, but you're still gonna go to that slow, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful, like,
you gotta be ready for it.
Be ready for it. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, set some money aside, do some things, that way if you do have some slow time, when that time comes, you have enough money for your bills, or to feed your kids, whatever it is, whatever your situation is.
Right.
And be smart about it.
For sure, you gotta be smart about it. And again, like, I wouldn't be very smart about it, and that's why I have an idea of when I want to quit my full-time job and do this full-time, and hopefully when that time comes, I'm going to be well prepared to go with that decision. Life can come and throw me a curveball, and maybe I will have to delay that time. But I think as far as what I have planned right now, it's pretty realistic, and I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I could save up enough time enough money and get my finances and everything together between now and then.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to mention too is a reason also why I'm very kind of like I know to be smart about it is because last year when me and Mullen first got the studio, it kind of did come unexpected for me to quit my full-time job working at the Lash studio that we were currently working at the time. And at that time, I also had a roommate, so I wasn't like, not all the bills were just on me, so that kind of gave me a little wiggle room. But I remember I thought to myself, well, again, we had just started this Lash studio. I mean, I don't even think I had the setup that I do now.
Yeah.
Like it was super brand new. And so I quit that job again unexpectedly. So I did not have anything saved up, and I didn't have a job for I think okay. So I didn't have a job for about a month and a half. I think almost 2 months.
That is right. I thought about that.
Mm-hmm. But then I started working like part-time for this other job, which was actually like it didn't work out, whatever. But in the meantime, during that time, I was like, you know what, I'll just start on my own, whatever. And starting from literally zero clients, I couldn't where I was working at for the Lash studio. It's pretty far from here, so
30-40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean with traffic, it's definitely 40 minutes, and I already knew a lot of those clients would not come here because of how far that commute was, and I knew that, and so I was trying to build clientele from like literally ground zero, you know what I mean, and then being unemployed, or again not having that constant check that you're used to, and then having to buy products and all that kind of stuff, and just even buying like decor, whatever it is, like all that. I think it got really stressful very quickly, you know what I mean? Because I do remember there was like 1 month where I was like, it was a miracle, because I was like, I don't have enough to pay rent this month. And my roommate was not the kind to be like, oh, I got it this month, and don't worry about or I'll pay part of it. Like he was like, you pay your part or
you're out.
You're out, pretty much, yeah. And so, and I remember I was in the Lash studio in here, and by a miracle, I checked my account and I was like, I don't have enough for anything to pay, not even my rent, but my bills, just my phone bill, whatever it is. And then I checked my account, and my taxes and my tax refund hit, and I literally
taxes comes in at the best saving time.
No, girl,
ever.
Seriously, I got so teary eyed because I was like, woo, okay, I'm good for another month. I think I was good for a month and a half, close to the 2 month mark and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally started tearing up, and I'm like, okay. And that first of all, I hated that feeling of just being stressed, and then again, not having any clients coming in and things like that, and it's just, and then not being able to pay my bills, and having that feeling, I was like, okay, I have to get something,
Yeah.
And again, that was having a roommate, you know what I mean? And now it is just me, you know what I mean? It's just me. I don't get help from anyone, and which is it's hard.
You don't want to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared.
Exactly. So that's why I'm just okay, and and let's say even if when the time comes that I quit this full-time job, I have no shame to say hey, I'm scared, because it is scary. It's scary. Everyone is facing a hard time right now in this economy. It doesn't matter if you're making 6 figures or if you're making less than that. It is hard. You know what I mean? Everyone is going through something,
and paycheck to paycheck. That too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think about it sometimes when it's slow. I'm I still need my part of rent and all our bills.
Exactly.
We're not gonna make it on just one.
Yeah.
So it's just it is scary not knowing, because just recently I had 4 clients. I believe it was 4 clients. That 2 of them was just gonna take one. It's all different things, which made sense. Some is money, some girl can have for her work. So it's then all of a sudden that's 4 clients less, and I was
yeah.
Need to. I think for me, learning how to be smart with money too is a big one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure. Same as you have to save up now for the future so you can go on your own.
Right.
I need to learn also, like, with what I have, what can I put aside so I have an emergency fund, like if something happens here or I get hurt.
Right. Yeah.
So I think no matter what situation, like planning ahead and being smart about it, and man, money and psychology, it goes in one.
It does, you know.
Like, let's make smart choices. Let's put systems in place and save some money, like things that can help us long term.
Yeah.
Or even short term if something happens.
Yeah, and you know, and I do budget my money against, especially now, you know. But there are certain things that, like if I want to get a coffee, I'm like, I won't get a coffee every day, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'm not going to limit my life already with as much as I do. Like, if that coffee is going to make my morning a little bit better, I'm going to get the coffee, you know what I'm saying? Then, yeah, maybe I won't buy lunch that day, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I can, I can, cool, but
make conscious, choices. Like, that is something that makes you happy.
It's just, exactly, it might be like a self-care thing, even though it's not like, I'm not getting pampered on it, but it's like, okay, it made my morning a little bit better, and I was able to have a slow morning because of my coffee and my little muffin or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have it.
You work so hard that is very important.
Exactly.
Those are the small little, like, okay, I love myself enough, like I
deserve that.
I deserve that. Like, you work so hard.
For sure.
And I think it is a grind until we make it, but also on the way, we gotta enjoy that. Like, you got to do that and do that for yourself.
For sure.
God, you gotta give yourself a clap on the shoulder.
Yeah. And, you know, and again, like, I don't agree with now being in this hustle culture. Like, I don't agree with hustle culture, like what it's like glamorized to be, because it is not glamorous at all, and it is overwhelming. And you know, I will tell Juan that, like, I feel overwhelmed, or I feel tired, or or I feel like sometimes I wouldn't even have to say, but you just can tell I'm tired, you know. And but I do know that because I have an end goal, like, I know it's gonna be worth it for, like, how it's going, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, yeah, that year and a half, like, that was rough, but you know what, like, I wouldn't change it any other way, because now I was able to survive doing that. Now, you know, I'm here now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that's just the way my journey is going. Some people might just be able to fully go off on their own immediately and get fully booked, and that's amazing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, Mom, like, for you, your clients, like, you start getting them, like, really quickly, you know, because I remember,
like, steady. I like
steady, because I remember you had even considered getting, what was it, that job at a tanning salon, was it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you were doing the dog walking for a while, and then you were like, actually, like,
I did definitely small things that I was scared, but I will say, and I think, I mean, it was a blessing. I'm not really good with, like, extreme change. I don't think I would have done really good if I got fully booked stat right away. And I still today, like, I like when things go steady. Like, even us now, like, building this podcast, slow and steady. I know we, like, have our mistakes, so we look after, we can do something better, but same as podcast, same in my personal life, same in my business, slow and steady, like, one step at a time, and kind of making it. But I do think having a goal is important, because you can be out there and hate your job and stay there forever and be miserable forever. But if you have a goal, something that really, like, gives you, like, a fire, like, make that into an achievable goal.
For sure.
You can do anything you put your mind onto, you know. But I would say have a goal, set it, and check in with yourself. Because then when you have hard times you're going through, you look at the light, you're like, there's a light in the end of the tunnel, you know.
Yeah,
and
it gives you hope. You know, it gives you hope. Like, man, this is not to put down anyone that does work a 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever it is. Like, that's your career path. Like, there's like millions of people, you know, that are like, they love that career, you know, or just even working at a, you know, restaurant industry. Like, those people make bank, you know, and it's not to shame anyone in that, you know what I mean? But if you're not happy with it, then you know, you got to figure out a plan like, what can I do to work towards it, something that will make me happy. Or
I agree.
Something that, again, it might not happen overnight. Like, my situation's not happening overnight, but slowly I have been able to see, like, a difference. You know, it would be different if it's hard because it's like, you still have to put the time and effort into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it would be different.
It's the grind part of it, because you can't always see where it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this little work we do right now, but in the totality of it, like, later on, you're going to be like, oh, there was a reason I did all these things. Even though it feels probably a nitty gritty when you're in it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think that's why a lot of these entrepreneurs and business owners, whatever it is, all these successful people do say, like, you know, sure, anyone could be an entrepreneur technically, but it all depends if your character, like if you do have the discipline to, you know, do the hard work and stuff. And I'll tell you, I don't have discipline when it comes to like working out or like eating right, but when it comes to like my business and stuff, yeah, I am definitely very disciplined, you know, and that's where I'm just like, again, it is tough right now and it's not ideal and it's draining, and I've put a million more miles on my car than what I would have before, you know, but you know, whatever. It's like I see the light at the end of the tunnel already, you know what I'm saying? So, but I would not see that light if I would, like, if this was time, like, well, I'm just going to block off my schedule every day because me time.
Right, because you're not working on your business.
Exactly, and I'm just delaying it even more. You know, exactly.
So. With your schedule, since it is so busy, I do think that my brain just don't want to work anymore. If when you are really busy, no matter what level you are, like if you are in Jenny's situation, in my situation, or whatever your own situation, at any level of success you reach is also there's going to be new challenges. So even let's say now when you're done with this job and you get fully booked here, then you're gonna have a different like schedule problem. So sure. then what? Then you might start looking at your personal life like I need a cleaner. I don't have time to clean my house.
Girl,
then you can outsource. So that's things that can help with that time management. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that we can do at each level we get to, but be smart about that. You only have so much time. Time is so precious. It is all in God. Yeah. Money is great. Money is a really great tool. But if you are focusing on what matters, it's really your time. You don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't like when people waste my time. So then, and if it's something that I'm really struggling with, not good with, outsource it. Yeah. Have someone help you with it. Pay someone to do something that you're not good at to save some time.
Yeah, no, I love that you're saying that because, again, my list getting longer, I'm not kidding. I have really considered getting, like, a personal assistant for, like, a month like that. You know, like, hey, only work 2 hours a day. Maybe someone that's, like, maybe like barely in college and they're like they don't want to stick with the real, you know, full-time job or part-time job like this one. Hey, just work for me like 2 hours every other day, like just knock these couple things off for like a month or two. If they probably could get it done in like 2 weeks with that much dedicated time, you know. But like it is to that point where I'm like, I just want my mind cleared on these things, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like it just relieves that, like my brain doesn't have to store that in me, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to think about it. I can not worry about, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not kidding. I think that.
I agree with you. I know right now for like both of us, like money is also like an issue, you know what I'm saying? But I do think as we get into the next level, I also there's things that I would outsource to people because why not? I want my time back to do what I'm good at. You know, like if you have a business and you're the creative one and you do all the creative stuff, you have the idea, all that good stuff. You need someone else to take care of all the money part. Like you say, all your bookkeeping and all the shit that you're like, I can't do this. You know, so you can focus on what you're good at. So I think as we level up, that is something that I also see, like in my future. You know,
1,000%.
To be like, I need help with this. Please let me pay someone. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes back to time management where this whole conversation started. You know, like, and again, just from a lot of podcasts that I have heard myself and stuff, it's like convenience is such a luxury, you know. It really is. And a lot of these people, I mean, if it's not you know, maybe it's a company like what is those companies that send you food, like your meal plans, you know, already made, you know, you just put it in the fridge and heat it up. It's like that's a luxury. Like I would love to have that so I don't have to cook, you know. A cleaning person, a personal assistant, or you know, again, you know, someone to help you with your content as you're lashing their film, you know, whatever it is. It's like that is all a luxury because it is like it's just a convenience for you. You know, it's not even like, oh, I drive a Porsche. Like, sure, that is luxury, but like in the end, like the luxury of things is just having the time, that freedom, the, you know. Imagine someone fully taking on your content. Like, I got it. Don't worry about it. It's like you'll be like,
film you doing live.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll edit it and I'll post it for you. I got the whole schedule. You'd be like, okay,
well now. That. Yeah. I think, you know, I'm kind of like because we live in this time and age, and it's just very busy, especially here in America, and I feel like back home in Norway is very different. But here, like, we really don't. That's why fast food is so popular, because it's so convenient. I do feel like sometimes I have to catch myself. I really do value work-life balance, and sometimes it makes me sad that we are so busy that we have to do all these things, which I'm just saying, like of course I want those things, because I want to build a great empire. I want that. But a part of me is also like, listen, lady, like, you need to, like, calm down. Make your own meal. Like, look how lucky you are to make your own meal. So a part of me, I'm really torn. Like, of course I want convenience. Like, I only have an hour to work out. Like, I think an ideal day for me would be to take some clients in the morning. I think as long as I can always lash, if I would love to. And then would I ever have other businesses and stuff? But I also want that freedom to be like, oh, I can make my own breakfast, or you know, like, I think in the future, like, that would be nice to have something like that. Those things that we always, like, you know, we're just so busy. So part of me is like, maybe we just need to relax a little bit too. But it's hard because you want to survive. Is it just because we are in a survival mode? You know?
And, like, another thing, like, which right now I'm not rushing for it or anything like that, but, like, I'm single, you know, and it's like, I can't imagine, and I'm happily single, let me say that. Okay, but I can't imagine whenever I actually really do want a relationship, like, and having the schedule that I have now, you know, and then much less bringing a kid and then having to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, first of all, if you're like a mom, a single mom, or just, you know, if you just have family, like,
credits to you.
Yeah, no, seriously, because
super moms. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Really, I have a husband and 2 cats, and I'm like, how do I have enough time?
Okay. I have 1 cat, and I feel so bad for leaving her at home all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like I'm a bad cat mom. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, but for real, like, it is like, I can't imagine having, like, this whole life, you know, not just specifically mine, but just, again, like, that always, like, you know, hustling or whatever, and it's like, and then feeling guilty because you're not spending enough time with your husband or not enough time with your kids, and especially, you know, I mean, thank God Marcus is an understandable person, you know what I mean, but, like, and you make time for him as well, I know that, but, you know, like, let's say, like, if he wasn't that understandable, you know what I'm saying, or didn't, and, like, it's like, no, why do I only get to spend?
Well, because this stuff requires so much.
Where I can't. And chances are, if you tell me to hang out with you within this week, it's like, I can't, you know. So
I think of, like, all these systems that we said, like, you know, get yourself a scheduling app, like, block off your schedule, time for you and yourself. Like, of course, like, you need to do what you need to do in order to get the money you need to survive. But also, when you are a mom, you have a family, try to schedule some of that time off for your family, for yourself, to be with them, because they love you, you love them, and you want to spend time with them,
and make those memories,
you know. And so, like, time management, I get a little overwhelmed with all the convenience, but at the same time, like, use time management to create more time with your family, because that's, for me, true work-life balance.
Oh, that's 100%,
you know, to have that, because that's all. Like, what do you have left when you're lying there dying on your bed? Like, you have the memories, you know, that you have created, and not just, like, that you made a good spreadsheet, you know. And so try to find a balance in it all, and also give yourself some grace, because I know, like, God, the amount of times I cry every week, like we both do, like, just stress, like, the uncertainty, like, all these feelings that all of us collectively, I think, feel. Give yourself some grace too. Take small steps every single day. As long as you go a little bit forward, like one little tiny step, something you did for yourself, or like a pat on the back, or you know, like, spend a little bit more time with your kids, whatever it is, like, take a little bit of time for you, because you're not going to regret that.
And it makes the biggest difference. Again, I mean, I am so looking forward to my Harry Potter night tomorrow, you know what I mean, like, where I'm like, that's going to be my time to relax. Like, I have it in my head, like, tomorrow night I can relax, you know, like, starting at 4 p.m. there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if not, then it'd be like, it just gets too much. Like, it's just too much, you know. Every person has a breaking point, you know, like, everyone is human, you know, like, obviously, but everyone can only hit a certain level, you know, until they reach a burnout, or where, you know, maybe you just have anything, you know what I mean, a meltdown, or maybe you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and maybe that's not necessarily the case, but in the moment, that's how you feel.
You're so tired.
Exactly.
If you guys haven't already, you should look at our last episode with Cheryl Payne, and we really do talk about mental health and how important it is, because honestly, it doesn't matter what industry you are, and I'm sure all of us here are lash artists or in the lash industry, but you gotta take care of yourself too, even if it's just a little bit of time, or that one coffee that you really wanted, or anything that can help give you a little smile in your day. Use time management to your advantage and to better your work-life balance. Because if you're not great, you're not going to do great.
Yeah.
Your clients are going to see it, your family are going to see it, and you're not going to be happy.
Yep, it trickles down. It's not like, everyone is just, some people are going to notice, they know the real you, even if they don't know you on a personal level, they're going to see something is up, so. And I did want to, I saw this on Instagram the other day, and I loved it because I feel like, again, it's kind of a reminder, like, to not be embarrassed or ashamed if you do have to get a second job or maybe a third job, whatever it is. Everyone's case is different. But it says you could work a 9 to 5 and run a business, be an investor, own rental properties, have a family, etc. Don't limit yourself. The average millionaire has 7 sources of income. So when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? That is so true. Like, I would like to split my 40 hours a week instead of dedicated to one place. Maybe, have different businesses or different, sources of income. But, as of right now, that, I'm split with these 2 jobs, and it is what it is,
Yeah. I'd say to finish off this great conversation, first of all, have a goal. Like, no matter where you're going, set yourself some goals, and then prioritize your time so you can get there. Mm-hmm. So use both those. Something you can practice. I'm not great at it, but practice it and check in with yourself, because that's going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's like hard to be like, well, I'm going to do that, but then you're doing something way over there. But if you have a vision, you can get there.
1,000%. Yeah. I have this thing on my vision board that I put for this year, and it says like, what is it? Gosh, I can't remember anymore. But it's like the perception of your mind. It's like reality, perception of your mind, the outcome. I think that's what it is. And it's like, if you really do believe, and I really can't say, like, even though sometimes I have my doubts, overall I do believe like I can be a successful lash artist and entrepreneur. Like, and even when times are hard and I don't believe that in the moment, overall I really do believe that, so I think even if it seems hard right now, like, try to change your perception on things, on life, and fully believe that, because you really can create the reality from just your mind, your energy, how you think things, so I really do think our thoughts are very strong, and it can really take us far. Thank you guys so much for listening to our time management episode. We are so thankful for every single one of you, and we would love your support in the future. If you ever have any questions, any topics, or anything you want to ask us, please just reach out to us. We will be here, and we will answer your questions. And again, we are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So check us out, leave a comment, subscribe. And again, if not, just message us directly on our social media, Instagram, typically for me, if not, like, maybe TikTok. But, just like, let us know if maybe an episode impacted you, or you just want us to touch on a specific subject, whatever it is. Yeah, but if you made it this far, be great. We love you.
Love y'all.
Bye.